Straight ahead on 12 News Weekend, a place that's a cut above in loyalty.
I've got a couple of them that I've had for like 48, 49 years.
We'll take you to the Brooklyn Park Barber Shop where everybody knows your name. Plus, the challenges of running a school lunch program.
Every single day, we have hungry children that do not have lunch money.
And the big gift that will help one local school district. But first, trains headed in a new direction. How a new route could pose problems for the city of Crystal. 12 News Weekend starts right now. Hello and thanks for joining us on 12 News Weekend. I'm Mike Johnson.
And I'm Shannon Slatton. Crystal City officials say a new train project could snarl traffic and impact businesses.
They're also concerned it could affect emergency response times. Canadian Pacific and Burlington Northern Santa Fe want to connect their tracks near West Broadway and County Road 81. And as Delane Cleveland reports, there's not much the city can do about it.
Travel often enough down West Broadway or Douglas Drive in Crystal, and it's likely that at some point you'll encounter a train. As it stands, those are the only two roads in the city where that's a concern for drivers, but that could soon be changing.
So we're in the parking lot of Thomas Auto Body right now, and you can see these pink markers in the parking lot are showing where the new rail line is going to connect.
Crystal Council member Jeff Kolb says nearby property owners notified the city that Canadian Pacific, with a line going east and west, wanted to connect with the BNSF line, which goes north and south.
The railroad has eminent domain authority, meaning that they can condemn and purchase this property on their own without any involvement whatsoever from the city.
Crystal City officials say this BNSF line only gets about one train per day, but if this project goes through, that number would increase. And that would cause significant problems for both traffic and emergency vehicles.
It sounds as though this is something they would like to do in 2015.
Crystal Community Development Director Patrick Peters says a typical freight train is about 4,000 feet long or 100 cars, which means that Douglas Drive, West Broadway, Corvallis Avenue, and another chunk of West Broadway could all be blocked at the same time.
So what that means is that police responding to an emergency or a call would not be able to access the northern or eastern parts of our city during the time that those at-grade crossings are blocked.
I think that it would be a complete loss for Thomas Auto Body and North Suburban Towing.
Ultimately, there's not much the city can do, but they're trying to keep people informed.
Although there are a lot of things that we don't know now, we do anticipate there will be a period for public comment, and we wanted to make sure we got the information out as soon as possible.
In Crystal, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
If the project does go through, Crystal officials say something would have to get done so emergency services are not affected. The city has been in talks with local lawmakers about possibly elevating the train tracks.
The shootings at New Hope City Hall are raising questions about security at public buildings. Mylan Masson runs the law enforcement program at Hennepin Technical College, which trains about 500 new officers a year. She says the incident in New Hope is bound to prompt discussions between law enforcement and city officials.
We want to have our freedom to be able to have this openness, but there's always somebody out there who may cause us injury or problems.
In Maple Grove, the City Council decided to have a police officer attend all of its meetings several years ago after an individual made threats at one meeting. And in 2012, Hennepin County started weapons screenings at its suburban court facilities in response to a courthouse shooting in Grand Marais. The screenings are now a permanent fixture at a cost of several $100,000.
A measles case on the University of Minnesota campus is drawing new attention to the state's vaccination laws. A Golden Valley lawmaker wants to strengthen state requirements for parents who opt out of vaccinating their children. Representative Mike Freiberg is the author of a bill that would require parents to meet with a doctor first if they decide against vaccinations for medical or philosophical reasons. Freiberg says not immunizing your child puts others at risk for serious illness. Measles is highly contagious. 9 out of 10 people who get the disease never receive the MMR vaccine. While the vaccine is not 100% effective, studies show it does drastically reduce your chance of getting measles.
In our Week in Review, crime data released this week show a slight uptick in crime in Brooklyn Park. Overall crime had been at a 20-year low. The new numbers show a 1% increase in 2014. Brooklyn Park police are most focused on violent crime, which jumped 25%. Robberies of cell phones and handheld electronics were a big driver of that increase. Community leaders celebrated the grand opening of a homeless shelter in Brooklyn Park for teens and young adults. It's the first Twin Cities suburb to open a shelter for young people. The facility has 12 beds and is stocked with personal hygiene items. The nonprofit Avenues for Homeless Youth will run the shelter. They expect residents to stay an average of 3 to 4 months while gaining skills and support to stay in school and live on their own. And the city of Plymouth is trying to figure out what to do about falling lake levels on Medicine Lake. It's a problem during the summer, especially in July and August. And it's not just a recreation issue. Residents say when water levels drop, the lake starts to smell. The city is considering whether to authorize a $22,000 study on the issue.
Bus riders who use Plymouth Metrolink have a new tool to help keep them on time. It's a new mobile app that allows riders to track in real time exactly where their bus is. The app also has a built-in route planner, and if the schedule changes for something like a big snowfall, it can notify you so you don't have to wait outside in the cold.
One of the things with our system is we're a system of choice, meaning that most of our riders have other transportation alternatives. So convenience is something that's really important to us, and we think that this app will help make the system more usable for our riders.
You can get the app at Google Play, iTunes, and Windows Marketplace. Coming up on 12 News Weekend, a school lunch problem solved by acts of generosity.
And then later in sports, Maple Grove's boys basketball team is enjoying a great season.
But first, back to reality. This week's forecast shows falling temperatures. Wednesday and Thursday only reach the single digits. Osseo school officials testified before a House committee this week addressing ways to close the achievement gap between students of color and white students. Osseo Superintendent Kate McGuire says work done in recent years to reduce suspension rates are leading to higher graduation rates among students of color. But she says it will be difficult to reach the next level without more help.
If we want all students to achieve at high levels, it's an intense people-intensive business. We have got to have classroom teachers, counselors, administrators, and support staff on the ground.
Other districts said it helped them to hire teachers with advanced degrees. Well, now to another gap that school districts say is hard to fill.
It involves school lunches, but a first-of-its-kind donation will help students who don't qualify for free or reduced price lunch. Remember those days when the school lunchroom served up your favorite food?
Get out of the way, it's Dunker Day!
A lunchtime favorite is on the menu at Elm Creek Elementary. And every student who wants a hot lunch can get one.
In our district, we have about 42% of our kids that are eligible for free and reduced price meals. That means that it's over 11,000 students that have to pay the full price of a meal, and frankly, some families struggle with that.
But students are not denied food, and student lunch debt can add up.
Every single school, every single day, we have hungry children that do not have lunch money.
Since the beginning of the school year, the amount of student lunch debt for the entire district is around $12,000. That's 3 times higher than normal. But for the first time, a donation will help make up the difference.
We should be a church that that just adds value to the community.
Jonathan Brozazog is pastor of Passion Church, which meets on Sundays at Maple Grove Senior High.
I just think it's part of the church's responsibility that if we're going to meet in a school, let's make sure that there's not students coming to this same school throughout the week that are hungry.
So the church has committed to giving $1,500 a month until the end of the school year to help pay for school lunches.
With all the things that underprivileged kids have to worry about, what if the one thing they didn't have to worry about was lunch?
The church launched the website schoollunchmatters.com to accept additional donations.
How grateful we are.
It's a donation unlike any that Tom Pellegrino has seen in his 20-plus year career.
It's hard to not be inspired.
And one that helps a very worthwhile cause.
To make sure they're ready when they go into the classroom, to be engaged and to learn.
The district is putting the money into a gift account, and then they will attempt to determine which families need the funds to cover the cost of their lunches. Coming up, a barbershop version of Cheers.
We'll take you to Brooklyn Park to not meet Sam Malone, but Denny Brummer. But first, it's a great matchup as Osseo battles Park Center in a girls' basketball thriller. That's coming up in sports with Jay Wilcox. With two good basketball teams and a great finish to this one. It's too bad somebody had to lose, but it was a great game.
Yeah, and it's extra special when it's a lot of players you know on the other team and everything, to kind of a neighborhood rivalry. After Osseo dominated the girls basketball series with rival Park Center for a long time, the Pirates have come on strong the past couple of seasons. The teams played a thriller earlier this week at Park Center High School. Ariana Jones finds Azaria Reed cutting for 2 of her 18, and Osseo leads 12-7. Park Center, though, goes ahead. Hannah Schaub nails a 3 on her way to a 16-point night. They go inside to Michaela Hayes for 2 plus a foul here. She scores 19. Park Center's up 40-31 at halftime. Second half, and Fashayo Iobamadeli buries a jumper for 3. Park Center goes up 47-44. But Kiara Russell gets a steal at half court, and she'll take it all the way for the layup. Regulation ends in a 62-62 tie, and it goes to overtime. In OT, Park Center striking early as Camille McCoy hits a jumper to put them up 68-64, but Osseo comes back hard. Michaela Homola nails a 3 from the right side that pulls the Orioles within a point, 68-67. Down 2 in the final seconds, Russell sets up Jones for a 3. That's the game winner. Osseo wins a great game 70-69 in overtime. The Maple Grove boys basketball team is ranked 3rd in the state, and they're back on a good roll after a loss to number 1 Champlain Park. The Crimson are 17-3, with 2 of the losses coming to teams that were ranked number 1 at the time. After Champlain Park pulled away to break open a close game against the Crimson January 20th, Maple Grove has responded with wins over Irondale, Andover, and a good Wayzata club, and they learned from that Champlain Park loss.
Yeah, it wasn't bad because we know when we were in the game with them, but we just let it slip. We just need to know how to put 2 halves together and keep our composure.
I thought we played well at Champlain Park. The last 5 minutes of the game, against a team like that, you have to finish out, in the whole 36 minutes. So I like where we're at. We're still getting better. We're still learning, and that's the most important thing to me right now. Is this late in the season, and I'm still seeing growth in our guys.
Maple Grove hosts Totino Grace Tuesday at their new home court at Osseo Junior High. Section gymnastics competitions are about 2 weeks away. Wayzata's one team aiming for a trip to the state meet. The Trojans won the Lake Conference title, beating the other 4 teams in dual meets, including Minnetonka, just over a week ago. They've had some injuries so far, but are happy overall with the season.
I'd say it's tough. It's more tough mentally than physically, really, because I know that all the competitors really want to get out there, and so it's hard to just sit by and watch. But we're getting better. Our injuries are starting to heal, so I think we'll be good for sections in state this year.
We all try hard, and so we're happy all with it. But I think once the injured people get back in, we'll get our scores up more. So.
Wayzata won Section 6AA a year ago on their way to a 3rd place finish at state. This is a team that is confident that they can win sections again.
I feel that we can. Don't count us out yet. We've got some skills in our pocket still that are going to come out pretty soon. They feed off each other, and that's what I like. They're coming together as a team, and they're their own unique individuals.
The Section 6AA meet is February 14th at Edina High School. And the adapted floor hockey, the Robbinsdale Hopkins PI Division team starts the season as the 4-time defending state champion. The Robins hosted Anoka Hennepin's Mustangs this week. Sean Johnson centers to Jordan Klein for the one-timer. The Robins on the board in the first. And the face-off is won back to Jeremy Jost, and his shot finds its way through traffic for a 2-0 Robins lead. In the third period, Klein sets up Johnson for the goal to make it 3-1 Robins. The Mustangs fight back, though. Kai France's goal for them makes it a 3-2 contest, but the Robins get 3 more goals down the stretch, and they win this one 6-3. So the dynasty continues here in the winter season.
I was going to say the word dynasty, but I'm glad you threw it out first. That's definitely what they are.
That's right.
Thanks, Jay. Up next, a lifetime of being razor sharp.
Meet the Brooklyn Park barber who has spent 50 years with shears and a fine-tooth comb.
In an era of upscale salons, traditional barbershops sometimes get overlooked.
In Minnesota, there are 2,000 licensed barbers, and one of them is a Brooklyn Park barber who is getting ready to put down his clippers after 50 years on the job. Here's Alexandra Renslow.
Good afternoon, Dennis Barbers.
At Denny Brummer's Brooklyn Park Barbershop.
I've always ran my barbershop, thank you, a lot like Cheers on TV.
The man with the fine-tooth comb and shears is bound to know your name and a bit more.
You can talk to him about anything. And what gets said in the barbershop stays in the barbershop.
For 50 years, Denny Brummer has cut and styled men's hair.
He's a lucky guy, got a lot of hair, hasn't he?
Priding himself on giving customers a good, even cut every time they take a seat.
I only got one rule, and that is that there are no rules. Common sense runs the shop. If we're busy, you cut hair.
He's run his own shop for 35 years, drawing repeat customers who wouldn't dream of going anyplace else.
His haircuts have always been good. He's a good guy.
He does a darn good job on my hair.
He does a great job, and you always want to come back to the people that treat you right and cut your hair right.
But after 50 years on his feet, this 68-year-old is ready to put down his tools.
I'm old, yeah, and 50 years is a good time to do it, and my wife and I, we want to maybe do a little traveling.
His retirement on April 1st, however, won't mark the end of Denny's barbershop.
I've been cutting hair for 43 years. Yes, and I plan to do it for a while yet.
The shop will be in good hands with Edna Karanen, who has worked by Denny's side the past 2 decades.
I really enjoy my customers. They are good to me, and yeah, what more can I ask for?
It's the same question Denny Brummer is asking.
GQ.
After a 50-year career of cutting, clipping, and making customers look good.
I'm a lucky man. That's what I am.
One of Denny's last haircuts will be a man who's flying in from Tennessee. He started going to Denny for haircuts as a kid. Now, that's dedication.
And what a character.
Oh, yeah, great
and
guy.
Jay knows him, right?
That's right. He's my barber, has been for quite a while now, and I'm going to miss him. I'll have to be searching for a new one, but best of luck to Denny. And I told him before he doesn't need to take the blame for this.
But once you find a barber who knows your head and does it right, you don't want to change.
Absolutely.
It's hard to do.
He will be missed.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
for sure.
That's it. That'll do it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
Have a nice weekend. We'll see you again Monday at 4 o'clock.